What is up, YouTube gang? We're back. Yesterday we had a dope part to Black culture where we had Darren Robinson on. He was on here talking to me about his experience in the Black community. And what's crazy is we pretty much have had similar experiences, just his was a little bit more rough than mine. But we related in a ton of different areas, which goes into my whole thing of just getting rid of labels because they box us in and they put us in certain spots where we don't belong. We're all human at the end of the day. So I'm going to bring on my awesome guest for this show. Got to introduce this guy first. Cash is here. Everybody loved you last time. And you're muted.
Everybody loved me last time?
Yes.
You know why? It's because
Why?
you finally got a white guy on your show.
Oh my God. You know what? I think this guy's a little bit more white than you are. With the,
Oh, hell yeah.
Leland is back. They loved you too, Leland.
I feel like I'm a wrestling fan, and in wrestling, the bad guys are called the heel. So I feel like I'm the heel to the good guys here in the community. And I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. And
Here's a beer for the troops.
Oh gosh. We got the myth, the man, the legend. D. Tonio is here with us today. Oh, he got the USA Cup up there.
Clink.
What's happening? What's that? My lady made me some hot chocolate with marshmallows, Black woman, so yeah.
And our guest, Darren. Thank you for being here, bro.
What's going on, man? I appreciate it. I love this show.
We're going to have a little fun.
Darren in the building.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Don't listen. Feel free to let loose. This is a show specifically made for that. We're going to be talking about Black culture. We've been talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about this, but I started a little series. And me and Cash are going to be doing something together as well. And I'll let him tell you about that.
We're going to be on tonight talking about culture, but it's going to be a little different. We're not just going to be talking Black culture. We're going to have every ethnic group in this live discussion. So we're going to have Jewish, Black, white America, if you will, suburban white America, as well as like Jewish, Arab, we're going to have everything, Latin, everybody. We're going to be having a nice talk tonight. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited. Same way I start the show. Who's going to answer first? Did I make Leland go first last time?
No.
I didn't. When I say Black culture, what comes to mind?
When you say Black culture, what comes to mind for me is talent, struggle, being taught to work, twice as hard, be on your shit. You got to be on your shit as a Black person. Tremendous opportunities.
Okay. Darren, blow him away.
Brilliant, lost, traumatized, beautiful, and very, very valuable.
Go ahead, Cash.
Think about Black culture, unique, not ours. No, not. I'm gonna take that one back. Not ours. Given. When I think Black culture, I think given. Confused. Beautiful.
Go ahead, Tonio. I'll go last.
Okay. Emotional. Victimhood. Survivors. When I think about Black culture, it's like a yin yang effect, love and hate.
I feel you.
Soul food, goddammit.
Soul food. I like it.
I don't know any Black people that don't like soul food. Like, come on.
Well, I think no self-esteem, no morals, swag, music, and proud.
Yeah. It's good.
I picked these things because I look at Black culture in a different light than I think Leland here. When I say Black culture, I don't think there is a such thing as Black culture because we're all Black here and we've all had several different experiences. Yes, some of them are the same, but there's somebody in another ethnic group that went through the exact same thing we did. They just not Black. I think Black culture is a product that is put in front of our faces to accept that this is what life is like for us. Because at the end of the day, reality is perception, and everything we take in is coming off of social media or the TV. Everything. You look at shows like BET and you watch what they put on their lineup. Dysfunctional mess, Black folks. You look at VH1, dysfunctional, ratchet, promiscuity, just no morals, none. Do I think it's absolutely beautiful? Yes, because the talent there is immense, but the way in it's being used is very evil. And I think people need to wake up to that and stop grasping to Black culture, because that then proves my theory right, that we have no identity because you're accepting what someone else has told you about you. And you guys can build off of that however you think. Go ahead, Leland.
I kind of disagree with that a little bit.
Of course you do.
Okay.
I agree with it to an extent.
Okay.
I agree with it to an extent. Let me start there first. I agree with some of it. I disagree in this point. I feel like black people, we're the tree. And every other culture, every other race is the roots, is the arms and leaves. But we're the tree. Like we're that's where we started, you know, with Black people. So when I see, you can look back at the last 100 years or so, and you see the rise of Black people. We're most dominant in sports. I mean, it's hard to find a basketball team now with two white guys, you know, that's on the court. You know what I'm saying? So, football, you know, all of it. Like, you know, we're dominant in that area. We're dominant in entertainment. We're starting to get our due. Our actresses who we've been watching for years are starting to get paid the same as white actresses, you know, who probably just got in the game, you know. So things are starting to balance a little bit more. So our culture is our culture. Our culture started when, you know, our ancestors got off the plantation and they went in their hut and they made food and they talked and they sang and they prayed and they took care of each other. That's where our culture started. Now, is it being exploited? Yeah, I mean, our American culture, I should say, not our true culture, but our American culture started in the break time from hard labor. That's where our culture started. And we had to take from white culture, American culture, to kind of rebuild give us something to have for ourselves.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
That's just based off my education and my research and classes I did. And
your research and your education is misinforming you.
Well, wait, real quick. How has anything I said have been like I mean, that's true.
Well, because you're researching the same bullshit ass history lessons that we've been taught, that we come from slavery and plantation and the white man beating us upside the head. That's literally what was that sums up everything you just said.
We came from Africa, right? We had our own culture. We had our own way. Okay.
I'm listening to you, but
real quick. So so in Africa, what do we have?
Slavery, just like America did.
Which part of Africa?
No, during the slave time, where our ancestors came from, where they took our ancestors from. Your ancestors
were traded away for goods.
Wait, time out.
I'm talking about the culture before.
You're not from Africa, though. You're not from Africa,
my brother.
You're not from Africa.
Real quick, I'm talking about 1600s. The people of Africa.
You were not existing in the 1600s.
I'm not talking about.
I'm talking about the ancestors, the ones that came over on slave ships.
They had their own culture. The people who came over, the slaves that came over on those boats, they did have a sense of culture.
They still have their own culture today.
But that culture, so you know that game where you like start with a password and you talk to the person next to you and you tell them
the message change as you go along.
Our culture came here as raw as it could be. The slavers beat that culture out of us.
So since 1980, why has more Africans willingly?
Wait. Hold on, real quick. Let him get them thoughts out real quick because I'm listening. I'm hearing you. Say that again, Leland.
So our slavers gave us names. They made us not look to their culture. We had to stop praying to the God that we thought was God, and we had to. They started to adopt this bottom. Huh? Pardon me?
Who was that God?
I believe a lot of it was Muslim. I feel like a lot of the Africans at the time was Muslim. Am I wrong in that saying?
No. Well, some. I guess you could say some. It depends on where you're talking about they came from because not everybody had the same culture that came over that was slaves. See, you had some that did come over that had tribalism. So they really didn't have like a God. But then you had some that were Hebrews that literally prayed to Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Then you did have some that was Muslim that prayed to Allah. But what you're missing is there's a lot of people that were already over here. They got you thinking that black people in this country came from the transatlantic slave trade when really some of them were already indigenous to this land. They were Native Americans. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look,
so when you talk about the culture, that we had, we can't really discuss what culture we had because now it's hard to say because it's been so mixed up. But that's not just with us. That's also with other people that came to this country that have been here for this long, like the Irish. You know what I'm saying? Some of the Irish that got off the ships, some of the natives that were here in this land.
The Irish and the black slaves got together. They was getting along. They worked in the field.
They were slaves together.
Exactly. And then the European whites decided to say, hey, we need to give them dominion over the black slaves. Give them
the British.
Right. The European whites at the time.
You know, Irish people are European, but
I think it's two different types of. So, like you said, if we look at the culture and we take the name of it off of it, the Africa and where we came from, we take those labels and those names off. We can all agree that America has beaten black men. We've been hung. We've been had the worst schools. We've had the worst health care in our own homes. We've been beaten, abused, and neglected. We shoot each other in the ghettos and all that kind of stuff. But we also agree that we're the most resilient culture ever.
Yeah.
Look how valuable we are. They're willing to go get us on ships and bring us over here. If that's what we're talking about, to sell us, to make us work, to use us. We're looking at people who buy us in the NBA. They buy us in the NFL. They buy us on BET. And we are the product, but we got to look at what they're selling off of us. Like I was saying yesterday, Cardi B got voted Woman of the Year. Now I can look at Cardi B past and tell that she's been in a traumatized home or traumatized situation or grew up rough or had a rough upbringing and was just ready to get out the hood. And so now you get somebody that'll give her $1 million. Now they sell her on TV, but what are they selling? What is the product that she is? So so we can't stay there if we know that we this valuable. Why are we depending on somebody to take care of us? And when we've come through everything we've come through, why are we saying that we gotta have this? We gotta have somebody take care of us this way. Why we can't go build? Why we can't go create?
You know, I got an answer to that, Brandon, and that's a very valid point. That's something that I was going to discuss later on tonight with what I'm going to be doing. At one point in time, we did. That's what people don't understand.
1921, Tulsa.
Yep, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
straight up. We did, and we still do. But it's different now. Here's the difference now. The difference now is you can become wealthy.
Yeah.
You can become wealthy as you want to be. And the quickest way to that wealth, and this is, you know, we try to take the fast route. So we work our ass off to become them NBA players. We work our ass off to become them NFL players, to become that rapper or that singer or that actor, you know. And once we get there, because of the fucked up way that we are in the hood, a lot of us don't turn back around and be like, yo, man, I'm going to go back and help these brothers out and get them, you know, set up with a business or get them financial literacy so they know how to operate with their money and tell them how important credit is. We don't do that because we like, when I was growing up here, these niggas tried to kill me.
Yep.
They made shit hard, or they shot my brother. or they shot my sister, or whatever it is. They clown me because I was trying to do this.
Yeah.
They made it hard for me. So we abandoned them because it's who wants to help out somebody that's been harming them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even though in the culture we look at like white society, we blame white people. A lot of us blame white people for everything. Slavery, we blame the police. But at the same time, in our heart of hearts, we looking back and looking at each other like, yo, you the reason why I'm fucked up. Like you the one that caused my mom to cry. You the one that did this. You know what I'm saying? But we just don't say it. We show it with our actions.
Yeah.
We don't say it. We'll say, fuck the police or these rich racist ass white people. We'll say that.
Yeah.
But in the end, we will go up to that white dude to get a job, or we will go up to the NBA to tell them to, yo, take me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When really you feel how, are you saying what you're saying, but at the end you're really looking back and you're like, yo, man, fuck him. We'd rather look at somebody that look like us and be like, man, fuck that. I don't trust that nigga, man. I ain't fucking with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I think that the real issue that we have is not that we can't acquire wealth. The real issue is we have forgiveness of the shit that we went through.
Yeah.
Trying to get that wealth.
Yeah. And that's
bias towards our own.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important, man, that during this time, even though all this shit is going on in the world, we see it all and we hear it all and we know it all. We know slavery. We know the Al Sharptons and all them stuff, the people that tell us to be bad. But man, we know why we got to stay in that.
Exactly.
You got to have a positive attitude. You got to have a get up about you. Every last one of us done been through shit. Grew up in the hood, abused, neglected, locked in basements. All my brothers going to prison, don't know my father, all that shit. But I can tell you another story of somebody else that got a way worse story than that one. Or I can tell you someone else got a lighter story and still messed up. So we all there, but why dwell on that? Okay, we've been through it. How do we progress from here? How do we get better? How do we go own that land? How do we go buy theaters? How do we go create legacies? The white man ain't stopping us from do that shit. Man, we can do it.
Well,
we can do it.
Leland, I seen you shaking your head, bro. How you feeling about all that?
Well, I mean, I'm hearing like Al Sharpton, like I think a lot of like before the show started, Antonio was talking about Al Sharpton and all these the older civil rights leaders, and he's like, well, why we still got to be in the past and all that stuff. I mean, I think if you study the Reverend's word and kind of don't take the sound bites, but kind of watch some of his sermons and watch some of his. I'm not saying y'all haven't done that. I'm not saying y'all haven't done that. But like one of my favorite lines from Al Sharpton is he talked about the slaves coming over. He said, just remember that the slaves that was on that boat, he said there were weaker ones who died and they had to throw overboard. He said there were sick ones who died, they had to throw overboard. Yeah. So the ones that came over here was the strongest of the strong. Right. And that's who you have here now. So I haven't heard a speech from Reverend Al Sharpton in a while that gives me that victim mentality thing. A lot of the speeches I've been hearing from him lately is be proud of who you are. We won't take second place. We won't take being beat and neglected and abused and then telling us that we got to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps. Get your boot off my neck first and then let me get up. So that's the message I'm hearing from Al Sharpton.
And like Roland Martin and these guys is that they are black men in America and they're rich.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. That's the problem.
How do you keep telling me to be angry all the time? I know slavery. I know what we've been through. Mm-hmm. Tell me how to get rich. Tell me how to get wealthy. It seems like you get your money from telling us to be angry. Teach me.
That's what it is.
Teach me, how did you become a millionaire?
How did
you start the business? How did you create this? And you're a black man in America like me. So if you can make it, well, shit, man, I can make it.
This is another thing. A lot of black folks don't even know. I asked someone, why do you call yourself African American? Well, because I just am. That's what I put. In 1984, Jesse Jackson decided for the entire community of black people, you're from Africa. We need to have a place that we're from. Goes back to no identity. We don't know. The closest I can get is Africa. So we want to be called African American. We didn't ask to be called that.
Can I tell y'all something? This is a fact. In the 90s, when they was fighting over reparations, right? They petitioned to the UN to give reparations for the slaves, the descendants of the slaves that are in this country. Did you know that America was willing to pay reparations to the people in this country that were descendants of slaves? Do you know what stopped them? You know what they said? They said, we only deal with nations. We don't mind paying reparations. Let me know what nation they from. We'll pay them. Wow. Africa is a continent. It's not a nation. It is a continent of nations. So what nation are you from? Now, the ignorant mind won't know that. What banner were you sold under as a slave? Your ancestors. What were they sold under? What banner were you sold under? There's receipts. You know what the name of it is? Moabite. You were sold under the banner of Moabite, which makes you a Moor. That's where you get the Moors over here in this country. You ever seen the Moors with the fez on their head and they tell you they were Moors? Because they got the part of it. They got part of it. Yeah, you were sold under the banner of a Moabite because they didn't know what nation it was that they was, kidnapping these people from and selling them.
Yeah,
you were sold under the banner of a Moabite. So the reason why black people ain't never going to give reparations, never, is because they have no nation. So the only nation that we have, see, that's why that shit's dead to me. Reparations is a dead ass thing. What we need to be doing is accepting where we are. We're in America. And we've made it. We helped build this country. Not we, but our ancestors helped build this nation, help fight for this nation to be the nation that it is. Yeah. So accept the fact that we are not African American. We are not Negroes. We are not Afro-American. We're not fucking black. That is a color. That's a color. We are Americans. Plain and simple. We are Americans. So what we need to do is just come together as Americans, accept that fact that we're Americans, and break the fucking cycle that's been the shackles that's been put on our mind to tell us that we're black. Everything related or associated to black is negative. Everything. Devil's food, blackmail, blackball. It's all a negative connotation when you think of Black Sabbath, black is sin. Yeah. Black is evil. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a color because you're not black. Ain't nobody here right now that I'm looking at on this screen black. You might be a dark ass brown, but you're not
like
black.
Like me.
You feel me? We're all different shades. And to be technical, back in the day, the white people that you hear, white people, it was never that. White was a status. White was a status at one point in slavery. Slavery, if you were white, that was your status. There were the black slave owners were considered white men and women, not because of their color, but because of their status. And you can learn that when you learn law, the Strong's Black Law Dictionary. You can learn all of this shit. And you're dealing in status, not in nationality. All right. So when you talk about slavery and the transatlantic slave trade and the culture that we had back then, you can't say that everybody had one particular culture. The songs that they sang around the campfire, what language were we speaking? I'll give you a hint. The language we were speaking was Hebrew. It wasn't an African dialect of Ghana or whatever the fuck it was. You were speaking Hebrew. And the reason you can know that, songs that they used to sing around the campfire. You know what I'm saying? Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. That is come by Yah. Come by Yah. All right? Everybody here is a descendant of a Hebrew. Don't get it twisted. Not a Hebrew Israelite, even though technically that is what it is.
Hebrews.
You're Hebrew.
Jacob.
We're Hebrew. I did my ancestry. The ancestry of my black line, the black side of my family, was they came here to St. Louis. No, not to St. Louis, to Missouri, somewhere in Missouri, right? They were Hebrew. They weren't slaves. So I'm technically not a descendant of a slave. I'm descendants of people that were Hebrews that came to this country and worked and owned businesses. Right now, we own like 130 acres down in Needleville, Missouri. They got train stations named after my family that I didn't even know. The Whitbys. I'm a Whitby because they did go up underneath the slave master, but they weren't treated as slaves. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? They had whatever the fuck they did back then. I don't know how it all worked out. But the truth is, you could still, at that point in time, depending on your status, not your color, depending on your status, you were treated differently. So if you was running around here like a slave, you was a slave. But if you did not accept that and you had the paperwork, and everything was paper back then, it was black and white. That's how you had Prince Hall. Prince Hall was a black Englishman who started George Washington on his path to masonry. Prince Hall had the charter that got the Masonic lodges started over here in America. And he's the only black man to be on a printed currency in the United States. He's on the $2 bill. Prince Hall, the only black man there. Who was George Washington? He was not treated as a slave. He was not treated differently than a white man because his status was white.
Mm-hmm.
You get it?
Yo, Cash, real quick. That goes back to like what I was saying the other day. Like, racism in this country is really just a cousin of classism. That's that's the foundation of racism. So, like the other day, I was talking about LBJ, and I know he's a controversial president. I don't expect a lot of people to understand, like, you know, why he wasn't more racially intolerant. But the fact is, he did give black people the right to vote. But he said this: you can tell the lowest white man that he's better than the highest accomplished black man, and he won't notice that you're robbing his pockets. Hell, he'll pull out his wallet and give you the money. So classism plays such a big part in how middle-class America, white America sees black people. When they see black people huddled in the ghettos, huddled in poor communities, and they look, how can they live like that? Are they dangerous? Blah, blah, blah. But they look at white poor communities and call them white trash and say the same exact thing. The fact is, middle-class black people do the same thing. Middle-class black people look at the hood and be like, I can't go.
The bigger question is why is the poor white community like that? And why is the poor black community like that? That's the most important thing here. Why is it like that?
My personal opinion on that is that we have, in the white community, we have people telling them that even though you're poor, you're white. And that's a God-given right, and you have right to this land. That's can I
break something down
to you? Certain rural areas, that's their beliefs.
Let me break something down to you real quick, man. Racism is an invention that was invented here in the United States, in the South, by a group of ignorant people. All right. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Because at the time when you had black people being sold in slavery in America, it wasn't just in America. There were slave ports everywhere. There were slave ports in Puerto Rico. There were slave ports in Portugal. There were slave ports in Canada. There were slave ports in France. There were slave ports everywhere. It was a business. It was a business. It was not about race. It was never about race. They didn't just say, hey, we're going to go over here and get them because they're black. That's not what it was. These people are willing to sell to us. These people are willing to sell to us for guns. These people are willing to sell to us for food. These people are willing to sell to us for ships. That's what it was about. Countries trying to acquire more wealth. Okay. Now, when you look at it, when they came over here to America, now, as I told you, if it was about race, Christopher Columbus would never have had a black man navigating his ship. Christopher Columbus did not know how to navigate the sea. He had a black Moor with him on his ship. He's in the picture in the painting with Christopher Columbus. He has a fez on with a feather. He navigated the ship over here to this land. Okay. And then later on, when George Washington and them got over here, there was black people with them. There were not slaves that was okay with the slavery business. In England, there was black people that owned slaves. Over here in America, there was black people that owned slaves. But they washed that shit from history. You'll never know that over here, there were black people that were not considered black. They were considered white because of their status. They owned slaves. They were very wealthy people. It was about wealth, like you say, classism. All right. It was definitely about classism, but it became a race thing over here to discourage the descendants of the people that came from these slaves as they were freed, as they got more freedom. When people started fighting for rights and people started fleeing, the North didn't take part in the slavery the way that the South did.
Right.
They weren't with that shit. That's why most of the slaves ran north. They went north because they were treated like regular people. You get what I'm saying? It was an invention of the South. And now in this country that we live in today, we're seeing like, people think that the rebel flag, for instance, is a sign of these racist motherfuckers that just hate black people. And that's not what it was. They used the flag for that, but the initial flag was not created to be a sign of racism or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Okay? It got treated as a symbol, like the swastika. The swastika was used by the Buddhists far before it was used by Hitler. But yet when you see a swastika, you think automatically, oh, that dude's a Nazi, not that he's a Buddhist. You know what I'm saying? Signs and symbols are for the conscious mind. All right? Now, think about this, bro. Think about this shit. Why do they keep pushing this racist narrative into our minds? What is the quickest trigger of a black man when it comes down to it? If somebody came up to you right now that was not black, so we say all day, I'm like, well, what's up, my nigga? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? But if a white boy from the hood that just watches the movies and thinks that our culture is the dopest shit in the fucking world, right? And he comes up to you not knowing shit about it because he never been to the hood and he thinks black people's a shit and his friends in the suburbs is black, they cool. He comes up to the hood and he's like, hey, what's up, my nigga? What you gonna think?
I mean, me personally, I had to check a couple of white guys who didn't know that I was black by using that word around me. I'm like, hey, yo, I don't know if you know, but I'm black. I need you to calm down on that kind of use. So that's like where I'm not white enough for the white people, not black enough for the black people. I got to stand up in certain situations all day. But if he around the wrong motherfucker, he gonna get knocked the fuck out.
Why?
I mean, me personally, I got a couple of white friends who get the pass with me because of the way they say it, and it's fucking hilarious. I laugh deep down inside just how they say it, so it's really me laughing at them. But if you come out with that condensation, if a 48-year-old guy named Ricky from fucking Alabama come in the hood and say, what's up, you niggers? Oh, it's a rap just because.
He said, nigga, there's different things.
That ER makes a big difference. I'm gonna tell you why, because of the same cats, and I hate to do this jab, but the same cats who wear the hats you guys wear also support certain racial groups that want to see the detriment of my people, or who
KKK supported the Democrat Party.
Who was a part of watching, my ancestors hang.
No, you're the president that you voted for hung with the KKK ringleader. What do you mean?
Do you know the true story behind that one?
No, wait, before you keep going, before we jump off topic, let me tell you something.
That's an important story, though.
Check this out. What about if a 68-year-old man came up to you and told you that you're the coolest colored person that he ever met?
The coolest colored person?
Colored.
I'm like, oh, this nigga's out of touch. All right, Jim.
Well, would you think
Jim? Pardon me?
Would you think he was racist for calling you colored?
No, I think that was him trying his best effort to not be awkward talking to black people, because for some reason, some white people do have issues just talking to black people.
That was a sign of respect
in a regular conversation.
In his time, that would be a sign of respect, because at his point in time, they were calling people niggas, and for them, it'd be like, okay, well, they're colored, they're not niggas. So he'll try to be respectful and say, well, he's a good colored person instead of he's a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
That's him trying.
My papa was a Vietnam vet. He's an Irish dude, green eyes, red hair, freckles. Love my papa to death. And he was not no damn racist by any means. But because of how the times was, the way he was raised, when I was young, I was over at my papa's house, and my papa loved me probably more than he loved any of his grandchildren, right? And he would put me to work. You feel me? Put me to work where I'll be out there while my other cousins out there playing. In my mind, because of how I was brought up and where I'm from the hood. I'm not from West Virginia. So when I go out to West Virginia, I hear these country accents, and automatically you associate that with racism. And you see my cousins is over there, they're younger than me, but they playing while I got to help my papa work. So I'm thinking, I want to play too. Like, why can't I go work? Why can't I go play? Why I got to work? Why you like, because I'm black? You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that to him, but I told him, like, Papa, I'm tired. I want to go play. And he's like, come here, grandson. He goes, let me tell you something. I'll work you like a nigger, but I'll feed you like a king. And then gave me a hug. And in my mind, I'm like, Mom, this motherfucking racist ass crap. You know what I'm saying? But
he didn't knock the fuck out.
but my papa loved everybody. He was not racist at all.
Right.
Never had a history of being racist. Nothing. He was looked out for everybody that he could. But to them in West Virginia, that's just a common way that you speak. It's like you're not saying it with malice. It's just how it is. But my papa looked out for me every single time I was around, and I love my papa. And see, that's the thing. The way people are raised, the way people are brought up, we take it as, oh, they racist because they did. But really, it's just how they was taught. They don't know no better. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get people that never seen a nigga day in their life, and they get around you and they don't know how to act because they think that you're going to kill them because they watch Minister Society.
That's like being mad at a 1982 Ford for not having Bluetooth. It's like, it wasn't a part of the time. I can't be mad at an 82 Ford for not having Bluetooth. You know, he just don't know. But that's
Go ahead, Darren. I want to hear what you have to say about all this.
I was just listening to it, but I remember when I was working as a case manager with the Texas Juvenile Justice Department, I was over the 16 to 18-year-old unit, and I was telling this story yesterday. It was a guy in there who was going to prison for 30 years. And I asked him why was he in there, and he said he stabbed this one guy, and I don't know if he killed him or paralyzed him. He did something to him, but anyway, he ended up getting sentenced 30 years. And I said, why'd you do that? And he said, because he came by me flamed up. I'm like, because he did what? And I knew what he was talking about with Red, but I'm like, man, came by you flamed up. Like he said, yeah, but he was doing it in a disrespectful way. I'm like, what you mean by that? He had on a red shirt, red pants, red shoes, and he had a red rag hanging out of his back pocket. I'm like, so a color. And so he's like, no, but he did it in a disrespectful way. I'm like, it's a color. You know, if you got a purpose, if you guys, I asked, what did you want to do? He said he wanted to go to school. He said he wanted to be an astronaut. I'm like, okay, so if you was really focused on that and that's what you really wanted to do, you're going to let somebody wearing a color get you 30 years in prison. And this cat's in there that was fighting and getting more time added to their sentence because of nigga. Hey, you going to let somebody extend your time for calling you the N-word. Right. What is your dream? What is your goal? What is your passion? I don't care what people call me. I don't care what people say about me. Legacy, family, trying to get out of that. If we get out of that mentality that, oh, you call me the N-word, I'm gonna knock you out. If we don't get over that, we are gonna be stuck in the same position. It's not about that. It's about, I don't care what you call me. I don't care, man. You got goals, you got dreams. Somebody getting called a word has ended people up in prison, has ended people in jail, has ended people because of a word. You know, I understand what it means. I understand what happened back in the day and all that, but we got to move forward. If not, there's 5 black people in here right now. Every last one of us have had that mentality that, you say the N-word to me again, I'm gonna drop you.
Facts.
That never got us anywhere.
Nope.
I was in anger management. I got kicked out of high school. Kicked out of college. I almost lost my job at CPS, all because of my temper and me wanting my respect and me got my pride in there. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna say that. I done said more racist stuff probably in my youth than probably any white person that ever said to me. I'm in the hood. I love saying cracker and pig and all that stuff when I was under that mindset or when I was angry or in a trauma situation. And that stuff don't get you nowhere.
Not at all.
And if somebody said to me, you got to have, black people, we got to get a resilience about us that says, I don't care about that, man. We trying to elevate. We trying to go higher. And if words got the power to make me hit you and get in trouble, that's not the type of reaction I want to words. Words that give you power, like you're a strong man, you got courage, you got character, you're a father, you're a husband, you're resilient. Those are the words that I let affect me. When you call me dumb, ignorant, and hood, and ghetto, this, that, and other, hey man, I love you. I love my enemies, but I ain't got to fool with you. I ain't got to talk to you.
Just
I ain't never got to see you again. Good day, man.
Thing. Just don't touch me. You can
don't put your hands on me because the hood gonna come out then.
Exactly. As long as you don't touch me, you are safe. That's it. You know, and the funny thing is we get mad. Like some of us get mad because somebody will call us a nigga, right? We call each other that all the time and don't think nothing of it because we get it. It's just a word and we've switched it around. People don't even know where the word comes from, the word nigga. You know what I'm saying? You break the word down, it's actually a compliment. It's actually a compliment. It means you're a king. In Ethiopia, niggas means Ethiopian king. They put the double G in there to make it derogatory because they capture people from the river of Niger, the Niger River. You know what I'm saying? And they called them niggas.
Yeah.
Put the double G in there to make it offensive. But at the end of the day, they didn't know that in Ethiopia, that means that we kings. So the whole time that we've been here, they've been calling us kings.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
God will take everything that was meant for bad and turn it around and use it for the good of those who love him.
Yeah.
And look at us now, how far do we have come from these people that were supposed slaves. So how can we not, why are we at a standstill now?
Yeah.
What has happened to make us stop our progression?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, what has set us back? The civil rights movement. From the civil rights movement until now, we have been set
backwards.
We went backwards.
And it's because of policy, bro. I'm telling you. It's a lot of it has to do with policy and what's allowed. And Tonya, I'm gonna let you go because you've been quiet. I want to hear what you're thinking over there.
Oh, you know, just letting everybody get their thoughts out, especially Leland. I love the like I'm a big fan of Black history. I love learning about, you know, the origin of Black folks and just mankind in general. So I appreciate all the info that Cash had that he had spilled on earlier. But as I'm listening to this, right, and I want to go back to something that Leland said, because this all goes to the hypocritical mindset that a lot of liberals have, Black and white. A lot of Black and white liberals have this hypocritical mindset. So, because when he tell me to listen to sound bites from, not to listen to sound bites from Al Sharpton, right? Don't listen to the sound bites, listen to the full thing. But that's exactly what they've been doing to Donald Trump or any other conservative or Republican. That's the exact same thing. Also, it's a confusing mindset to have. It's not healthy to pass that down to the next generation, that mindset. I've listened to, like you said, you have not listened to a Al Sharpton speech in a while. I watched the whole hour and a half Zoom meeting that Biden had with these so-called Black leaders. And that's what further fueled my disappointment with these so-called Black leaders, because they're literally preaching the same shit that they've been talking about 50 years ago, during the time when they were trying to fight for the things that they have now. And there was not one young Black person in that meeting whatsoever. Everybody was 45 and up. And there was a few people I had no clue who they are. They probably work for Biden's administration. And then another thing is that in the Black community, we're talking about Black culture, we are very naive. But we're not naive enough to accept the truth, because you don't have to believe the truth. You know, you believe in you believe in what you believe in. But if there's no significant evidence to prove what you believe in, that's why they call it a belief, a faith of some kind, you know, and that's your own personal, you know, decision. That's your personal life, however you want to do it. You know, that's why we have religious, because it's a belief factor. Everybody believes in different religions, right? But the truth is not to be believed. The truth is to be accepted, because when it's truth, you can prove it and you can back it up.
Facts.
I was doing an interview today, with journalists who's doing an article about me. And one of the things that I always talk about, and a lot of the education that I get is from Brother Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams and Jordan Peterson's of the world and Milton Freeman's. So the thing is, truth is to be accepted. You know, you have to just accept that. We as Black people today, modern Black people, this mindset that we have, the fact that anything that is deemed as negative, you automatically think Black people. Like when we're talking about how Lyndon B. Johnson, who in some cases, you know, according to what you were saying in the previous podcast that we were having, is that anything that's associated with negativity, we think Black. Like we think welfare, Black people. When there's statistically, factually, more white people on welfare than Black people. And you can look at the disparities and the ratio and see that, okay, to the naked eye across the board, that white people lead in all categories because of the population ratio, you know, the 70% versus the 13%. But here's the thing, and this is why I want a lot of people to pay attention to this too, because this is where math come about and algebra and all that good stuff. Because if the population was even amongst Black people and white people, and if we apply those same ratios and those same disparities, Black people by a landslide would be leading in all categories if the population was even. You know, just to simplify it, I say it's the 2 to 3. It's the 2-3 to 3-5 ratio, because 2/3 is more than 3/5, and that's how it is when you look at violent crime that Black people have. Like, for example, you said somebody said an N-word, I'm gonna have to punch this motherfucker in the face. We are so emotional. For some reason, we have to resort to violence. And where has that gotten us besides in the grave or in prison? Now, that's a fact and some truth that you have to accept. But for some odd reason, we love to talk about mass incarceration and the white man throwing us in jail solely because we are Black, not because of the behaviors that we have been displaying within our communities or to the general public. In modern time today, I've always said, and I will continue to say this because it is a fact, and white people will agree with this. And I think anybody who knows the slightest bit about history will agree. Historically, white people have been the most barbaric people in the world, right? We can agree to that. But in modern time today, Black people have succeeded that, 100 times over. When you look at, because it's this Instagram page, right, called World Star Media, not the actual World Star Hip Hop page, although they deserve a lot of criticism as well to the detriment of the Black community. But it's this page called World Star Media, and they literally they display the negative and violent behaviors and the irresponsible sexual behaviors of Black people. And they have a massive following, over 100,000 followers. But on that same page, they want to talk about Black Lives Matter and how the police are the problem in today's society amongst Black people. That goes back to the hypocritical mentality that I was talking about. That is an issue. And then with people like myself, Cash, Sonny, or the brother Darren down here, if we address it and call it out, we're coons. We're Uncle Toms. We're the sellouts because we are pointing out the poisoners and we're holding them accountable. Nigga, if you go to jail, if you're like, I feel like this. This is just this again. This is just my personal belief. Maybe it may be factual, but I believe that once you can read and write, by the time you 6 or 7, then your ass know right from wrong. Period. And then by the time you 12, you definitely know right from wrong. You know that if you steal this or if you don't wash them dishes, by the time your mama come back, there's going to be consequences, right? So you didn't do the right thing. The parent is the authority figure in the household. In society, the authority figure is the police. As Black people, we need to respect the police, our teachers, the same way we will respect our disciplinary, which would be our mother or our father or whoever our guardian is. But over us, because we're not around them every single day, we can disrespect them. We can call them a pig, you fucking crazy. But again, that hypocritical mindset. If they turn around and say the same exact shit, you call you a nigger, you was a motherfucker, whatever, then you'll be mad about that. Hold up, I'm not finished. I let everybody talk about 35 minutes straight. I'm not finished. And a lot of this, man, I know you don't want to swallow that red pill, but just let me finish. I was respectful. I muted myself. A lot of this mentality goes back to the liberal mindset, the mainstream media mindset. These white liberals, the same ones that Malcolm X warned you about. But y'all love Malcolm X when he was toting that damn rifle and talking about y'all love that aggressive shit that he was talking. But toward the end of his life, he had more so of a conservative, more open mindset. He said, you know what? I apologize to every Black leader out there. I don't want to have any other beef with any white folks. Y'all can help us, but you can't join us because, we have to keep our integrity. Okay? And as time went on, after his assassination, Dr. King's assassination, Black people have lost that integrity. Because now...
Damn, he froze.
Because I had a back and forth with a brother, and I told him, I was like, because people, talk about twerking and shit, they love to bring up fucking Africa for some reason. That's a part of our tradition. No, that is culturally different from America. Miley Cyrus made twerking mainstream. Miley Cyrus did, not fucking Nicki Minaj. Miley Cyrus made twerking mainstream. And everybody thought that was the coolest shit in the world. Then all of a sudden, now you see all these girls in these choreography dance studios making twerk videos, just shaking their ass. That's all they're doing. They're not hitting no moonwalks and no spins like Michael Jackson did. They weren't doing any of that shit. Miley Cyrus is the one who made twerking cool, a white girl. But visually, who does it the best? Black women. But But this is also about the hypocritical mindset of Black people, especially Black women, in this regard. Because when you pose naked on social media, when you're constantly talking your ass, when you're selling sexual content on your OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is not just for pornography, but for some reason we are quick to run to that because it triggers people, it gets your dopamine.
Yo, I love this brother. I love his energy.
Any.
Oh man, he's freezing.
He going on.
Obama started the OnlyFans. Shit. Bitch, you better show that big ass dick you got. That's what they looking for. Okay, so it is the hypocritical mentality of Black people. So when you got brothers, half brothers like Leland,
what up, though?
Like Leland, who grew up with a white mother, barely in Black culture, okay, barely in Black culture.
Hold on, cuz.
You for some that Black side in you, that emotional side in you, want to claim the Black people. Right,
facts, bro. He's talking facts.
Just like in church. I'm almost finished, so give me 30 more minutes.
We ain't got 30 minutes.
But I'm quiet about it. And I'm not trying to make a personal attack on your mother or anything. I'm just using it as an example. But mainstream media has the greatest impact on modern day Black people today, because when you talk, because think about the headlines that you see. White cop shoots Black man, not cop shoots suspect, right? But if it's the other way around, what about Jeremy Martis? Where's his justice at? Anybody familiar with Jeremy Martis or any of these other white kids who was killed by the police? I'm talking about a 6-year-old here.
I haven't heard
shot the car up, and LeBron James, he wrote the opposite of all these other we shall overcome ass niggas. Nobody said shit about that. That is the hypocritical mentality that I be talking about amongst the Black community. Because when Breonna Taylor got hit up, everybody it was all Black Lives Matter and all this other shit. But what about all these other white folk who got shot? It's on camera, unarmed, like the brother in Phoenix, who didn't even know that was the police knocking at his door, and it was blinding him with the flashlight, and he was putting the gun down and dropping to his knees, but they shot his ass anyway. It was not on mainstream media. Like they had been a Black person. Like they had been a Black person. Everybody would have been singing their motherfucking we shall overcome, motherfucking white man, and then they did it there.
No, they would have been like, no justice, no peace.
Meanwhile, in Chicago, in Detroit, meanwhile, in the city of Detroit, Baltimore, and Chicago, I'm from the city of Detroit. I don't live too far from there right now. Meanwhile, motherfuckers is getting shot up left and right. Babies are dying. Black Lives Matter is nowhere to be found. But y'all want to talk about, well, let's only focus on police brutality. Well, nigga, it should be across the board. I don't see no white people up in this motherfucker. White people don't get shot by the police. Because statistically, it says that they does at a much higher degree than Black people do. But you don't hear about that because it doesn't trigger you, Leland. It doesn't trigger you. It doesn't get you going. For me to hold on. I'm almost done. Let me close. So instead of telling me to not listen to sound bites from Al Sharpton, why don't you not listen to sound bites from Donald Trump and stop looking at a video that was edited to make you feel a certain way and create a narrative and give you a perspective, a false perspective about that man? Because that man has done more than the last motherfucking 3 presidents. Specifically, and the things that he's done has affected, had a great impact on Black people directly. But go ahead, I'm done.
Yo, bro, you just murdered that shit, bro.
You did. Oh my God.
You about to be a regular panelist, bro. I hope you ready.
Hey, real quick. That was the biggest crock of shit I ever heard in my life. But
why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my gosh. Stop fucking lying.
Bruh.
Here we go.
Halfway. Take
quick. Real quick.
halfway. Take
quick.
I don't understand.
Real quick.
Go ahead, Leland. I'm listening.
First off, I'm gonna start with this. My mother was the pastor of an all Black church in Detroit, Michigan. After my father passed away in 1996, we was in the hood. My mother was white, raising 5 kids. Everyone thought she was Black. She makes some mean ass mac and cheese with the collard greens.
That don't make you Black, dog. That's why I said you're buying into the culture, because that don't make you Black. I'm telling you that I'm a Black woman. That don't make you Black.
All I'm trying to say is this: is that when he said that I'm not in the culture, I'm half trying to do whatever. My father told me I got one drop of black blood in me. I'm black. I lived in the hood, grew up in Detroit. Like I can't.
Of course you did. That's why you
can't even get along with certain white people.
That's why you think the
that's the problem.
Because of my blood. But real quick, I just want to say
think the way you do because you grew up in the hood around a bunch of other oppressed ass Negroes.
When you grow up in the hood, first off, you learn a lot from the hood. I'm in Atlanta right now. We in Black Mecca. So when I hear all that shit y'all talk about like, I grew up on Puritan and Wyoming. Black people can't do this.
Puritan and Wyoming.
Business owners black. So I see a positive side I see a real positive side of the black turn up. 50% of the last businesses open during this COVID, black entrepreneurs. Black entrepreneurship is on the rise.
And who helped them do it?
Also,
who helped them do it?
Themselves.
Who helped them do it? No. Who gave them the opportunity? Hold on.
Gave them the opportunity.
Dude, stop. Don't give me PC answers. Who helped them with these opportunities? Because black people didn't always, especially entrepreneurials, they didn't always have the opportunities we have now. Whose policy is helping them do that?
Wow. Anyways, I'm gonna pass it down to Trump.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God! Stop fucking lying.
Dog, you don't want to say Trump, but you know what it is.
Man, Trump ain't do shit. Period. Trump hasn't done shit. Period. Wow.
Wait, I'm curious though. Let him finish his piece.
So when I hear y'all say we're worse off after like civil rights, after we was able to give them the right to vote, y'all ridiculous. When you said FDR didn't do anything for black people because he didn't have to, because we didn't have a voice. That's why Biden fucking campaigned so hard to black people, because he know when we show up, we win. Period. On the Democratic side, when black people show up, we win. I really do think Barack Obama changed the Democratic Party because Hillary ticket was a mayonnaise on mayonnaise sandwich, and black people ain't show up at all. They didn't do anything for us. We need to feel like we're at a part of the table. And like it or not, in the Democratic Party, black people have had the seat and have had more seats at the table of things that's meaning things other than 50 white men from fucking southern states.
So wait, time out. See why you got to do that? That's the problem. You got this you so pro black, right?
I like.
Hold on, man. Hold on, bro. Because you say, listen, hear me out, man.
That title, because if we don't have that title, they take credit for everything.
Who takes credit for everything?
For example, I'm gonna give you a quick example. Elijah McCoy, one of the greatest black inventors of the 20th century. The term itself, the real McCoy, comes from this great inventor.
How long ago was that, dude? What does that have any relevance and significance to us as people? I don't understand this shit.
I'm gonna tell you that right quick. Everything that Elijah McCoy has done is not being taught in schools across America. When you don't teach the kids that black people can also invent things, that black people can also cure things, that black people can also create certain things, and you just tell them about the Malcolm X, or you just tell them about the Martin Luther King, and you just tell them about the Rosa Parks, then those kids, those white kids, those black kids, they don't feel like they come from a educated culture. So education and educating our kids to let you know, like, hey, we aren't just this. But we have some smart motherfuckers who change the course of America.
Is that not what we're doing here as conservatives? Because we talk the positive message about black folks.
The way that
follow that red pill, bro.
You're doing that with, like, I look at that Trump hat as the same as a Confederate flag.
Triggered.
As the same as
Wait. Come on.
The Republican Party harbors and protects those groups today. I said that virus of racism moves from party to party, and right now that virus is with the Republican Party. That virus. Look, you got real quick. The guy who killed Martin Luther King. If he was here today, he'll be a Trump supporter. So that's why
that is the speculation. No, listen to me, man. I gotta check you, my nigga, because I've been listening to you talk.
Black people are doing better.
No, hold on, fam. Look. I've been listening to you speak, and you just regurgitate fucking talking points from like CNN and shit. You give speculation. You just gave a speculation as if it was a fact in your mind that this nigga would have been a Trump supporter. You don't know that shit. But beyond that, you say that this hat to you represents the same thing as a Confederate flag, even though it's on. Nigga, I'm a hood. I'm one of the hoodest niggas that you could possibly get. You feel me? I've done did this shit. I've done did it. You feel me? And you get listen. But here's the difference between me and you, bro. I will come on here and spit facts to you. I'm not gonna give you my opinion, G. I'm finna spit facts to you about shit. I study the shit that I believe. The reason I'm a Trump supporter and not a Democrat anymore is because I studied. You ain't studying shit. You have a bias that won't even allow you to look into policy. You don't shut the fuck up and let me talk, my nigga. You keep cutting people. Look, this the thing, bro. I'm all for unity. My whole thing is at the end of the day, I'm about unity. But when I look at people like you that's been brainwashed and taught to believe the shit that you believe by the party that you associate yourself with, you can't even you got such a fucking cognitive dissonance in your mind. I could show you some facts. I will show you the policy. I'll show you the clips, and you'll say it doesn't matter. You wear that hat, you support a racist. That's because other racists support him, and the party switched. When I've proven this shit on I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna show you how the party never fucking switched. The parties didn't switch from racist to Democrats to racist Republicans. No, a racist is a racist. There's racists in the Democratic Party as well as in the Republican Party. And if they are, then fuck them. But you can't help who supports who. You talk about the KKK and shit. The KKK supports the Democrats this year. They endorsed Biden this year.
Thank you.
The nigga came out, made a whole fucking post about how they're endorsing Biden this year. Why do you think they did? So does that make Biden a racist? No. And I'd be a goddamn idiot to think that Biden's a racist because racists support him. That shit's stupid. That's an asinine ass thought to even have. And then you talking about that Trump is a racist and the shit that nigga. I ain't never heard Trump say no racist shit. I've heard Biden say some racist shit. I've heard him out of his own mouth. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Their poor kids can be just as bright and just as or white kid, whatever the fuck he said. That shit was racist. But you don't excuse him though. He's the better candidate because but the racist is better. You talk this pro-black shit. If you was pro-black, my nigga, you wouldn't be talking the shit you talking. You brought up fucking Planned Parenthood as if it was something to be proud of, and didn't even know that it was a racist bitch that created it, and that's the reason why the shit's in the hood.
But you say at one moment, don't worry about that's that time, and that doesn't matter. So
it's still going on.
I brought up FDR being president in the 30s, and she said that it was like, oh, that doesn't matter.
So motherfucking brain, G.
You're dude, real quick. And we're all Americans at the end of it. And I appreciate every single one of your opinions.
I love you to death.
In this group, I don't mind being that. But when you're telling me that we need to respect the cops as much as we respect our mom and pops, but we don't need that respect back, that's bullshit. And that's a victim mentality. In my view.
Okay, so look, let me tell you something about your view. If somebody break into your fucking house right now, who the hell you gonna call? Some niggas from the hood or the police? Is your child come up missing? Okay, look, if your child come up missing, who the fuck you gonna call?
Look, I respect the police. I'm not the type where I'm just like I got a middle line when it comes to police. I respect the job they do. That's a hard fucking job. Period. I also feel like this. If you grew up in the suburbs as a police officer and then you went straight to police academy and then from the suburbs you go right into the hood, you might see some shit that scare you. I would love to see more people from the hood actually police the hood because then you know those temperaments.
Well, don't brainwash them to think that the police is the motherfucking enemy and make them want to become cops. You are with the narrative that you push. I never want to become a cop if I was black because I'll be thinking that you're gonna label me because I wear a badge as a racist ass nigga like you. That's how you did me with wearing a motherfucking Trump hat. Follow your own logic, bro.
See? Look, that's that hypocritical mentality.
That's not hypocritical.
He over there chilling. You gotta get in here.
Very hypocritical. I just
you would love to see more cops from the hood, but yet the hood can't fuck with the police. It's a culture problem.
Because if the police in certain areas abuse the people in that community, you got to understand, when you look at pictures from like the 40s, where you see an African-American hanging from a tree, right? When you see him hanging from the tree, and then you see all the people around them looking at it. That's police, that's the sheriff, that's the kids, that's the neighbors, and they're all in it together. So we're in a community now, and the police don't have the best interest of every citizen.
I gotta say something, y'all. Hold on. Time out. I gotta say this shit. It kind of what you just said. the black man hanging from the tree that was just killed by these racist motherfuckers, and everybody getting together, and they all white and they all watching, right?
Right.
And the slaves ain't do shit back, right? Hold on. Here, check this out. In 2020, check this shit out. In 2020, just like a motherfucker getting their ass beat by the police, a knee in their back, and everybody got their fucking cameras out. Everybody want to talk about it. Everybody want to record it to get the views, but ain't nobody do shit to help them.
Yeah,
that's the fucking problem. That's the fucking problem.
So look, let me add on to this.
Well, what do you do to a cop? If you put your
you talking all this revolutionary shit? Why don't you, instead of pulling your fucking phone out, go to jail for your fucking brother? Grab yourself of him and save his fucking life, and go to jail with him.
I'm gonna bring up
his funeral.
I think at some point you do think that the professional police officer went and fucking killed the guy.
No, I can still win in 2020 because you got a preconceived notion that the police is fucked up, don't respect them, and niggas wearing Trump hats is racist.
You're attaching. You're attaching a very. You're attaching a lot of what the left, the right, like to attack the left onto me. You don't know my personal opinion.
I was being calm about
this. Getting your personal opinion.
You just gave it through the fucking news. You sound like one of them puppets that got Biden's hand up their ass and he talking. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to say ditto. Fake news, ditto.
Look, Sonny, let me get this point out real quick. I'm gonna be real quick because I know you got to end the show. Let me get this out real quick. So when you talk about black people policing their own neighborhoods, right? In the previous podcast, I brought up a community organization group that walk around legally with firearms, and they are called New Era Detroit. And what did I say about New Era Detroit? I said they hold the poisoners accountable. If an old lady house gets shot up, they showing up on the scene before the police get there. If any of these Chaldeans or any of these liquor stores or these Arabics or whatever, if they pull a gun out, just like my girl, just like the homegirl in 1992, back in Compton, I think that was, when she got shot by that Asian woman. You know, if something like that happened in the city of Detroit, New Era is going to be on that ass. They're going to shut it down. It's all over. They have video proof of this. They will shut down your gas. They're not going to fight you. They ain't going to fuck you up. They're going to hurt your pockets. They're going to make sure they'll know better. They're going to line up in front of that bitch. Ain't nobody coming in this motherfucker making money. That sounds like policing to me. But Lily, why don't you ever talk about New Era Detroit? But you so busy talking shit about Trump and praising Biden and kissing his ass. But you don't ever talk about New Era, but you want people from the hood to police the hood. But here go New Era Detroit, but you don't say shit about them. Do you even know about them? And you from the city of Detroit?
Real quick. I'm in Detroit. Real quick. I never said anything positive really about Biden. He was my second pick candidate, and I think he's a very moderate. I wish we had a more progressive president. So, and also real quick, just to bring it up, what you're saying New Era Detroit did is the same shit Reverend Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King.
No. New Era.
I gotta let Darren go because you're regurgitating the same talking points, the same liberal babble, bro.
Go ahead. At the end of the day, I really appreciate kind of both. Because when we talk about the hood, we really talking about ourselves. A lot of us grew up in the hood. A lot of us grew up in the struggle. A lot of us grew up worrying and stressing and watching our parents on food stamps. I know about egg sandwiches and ramen noodles and stretching the dollar. We all know about all of that, you know. And all my brothers went to prison. Every last one of them. My twin got 40 years. One got 10 years. One got 22 years. One got 7 years. 4 of us never met our father before. And so we grew up in the hood. You got people that lived in the hood. Then you got people that make the hood the hood. My brothers was the one made the hood the hood. They was getting in the shootout with the GDs and all that kind of stuff. And the house ended up getting shot up. But we was abused and neglected growing up. We was always beaten, locked in the basement, starved, abandoned, all that stuff. And so I'm glad, police used to bring my brother home and drop him off on the porch with black eyes and all kind of stuff. So they used to beat my brother. They used to come around to the basketball court with the paddy wagon and pick up a lot of black kids and burn off and all that kind of stuff. And so my household, my family is a product of a fatherless home that grew up in the hood with one parent. And so I'm glad that people are continuing to voice the outrage and the cry and the need and the hurt and the pain. But I also know that if we doing it angry, we're not going to get nowhere, Right. So there has to be a group of people that say, okay, yeah, they mad. And I see why they mad. But we need to talk. We need to sit at the table and we need to look at ourselves and say, hey, bruh, you can't kill somebody because they're on 14th Street. 14th Street don't belong to you. You can't go by a damn house and shoot a baby in the house because you mad at the brother or shoot a grandmother. You can't get mad because you see me walking to the street walk to the store to get a bag of chips and shoot me. You know, you got to start. We got to take self accountability and stop that stuff. But the outcry is the same. Black people need to come up, and we need to take self accountability to come up, and we need the government to help us out on that too, because Trump putting in stuff that we need. You know, the prison reform, the school choice. We need all that. We got some raggedy ass schools in the hood. Yeah, we need the prison reform redone, man. My brother,
hey, Darren, I love you, bro. Hey, Darren, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but Leland, that's the fucking problem. That's exactly why we'll never. What he just said is fact. We got to be able to have the discussion. But when you're already not hip to it or not even cool with even talking about the shit and you're down in it, even though it's been something good for our situation, and it's simply because it came from a man that you don't agree with, but not from your own reasons, but from a reason that was presented to you by motherfuckers that don't care about you.
But watch this. Watch this.
Never go nowhere.
He did that on prison reform. Watch what I said about prison reform. When I worked in that juvenile facility, before that, I was a child protective services investigator. And I seen all the kind of trauma and abuse and neglect that you could see to a family. I left there and started working at the Texas Juvenile Justice Department, and I had those kids, and I would look in their case file, and all of them had history of abuse and neglect. Now, you take a kid that was born into the world, probably addicted to drugs or beaten by a parent or left in the crib and all that kind of stuff. Their brain forms completely different than somebody that was raised in a normal household with love and this, that, and other. Then you take that same kid and he walk outside of his doors and all he sees is poverty and drug addicts and all this kind of stuff. His brain is shaped a certain way. So now this kid goes to school and they know he got behavior issues. He's not going to be the kid that's going to sit down in the chair and all that kind of stuff. They go to alternative schools. The alternative schools are like the juvenile detention schools. You got to walk with your hands behind your back and all that kind of stuff. Trains them up for prison. So now these kids are going into this juvenile facility from this abuse and neglect environment. And now you got them locked in a cage. You got them locked in a cell. You can't take an abused dog and lock him in a cage and think that his mind is going to get better. You just can't do that. So now you got these kids in there that are mentally breaking down from being locked in the cage and having grown men jump on top of them and strap them down to a metal bed and pepper spray them and all this kind of stuff. And they have to follow directions where they probably had no order forever. And you put them on medication to turn them into a zombie. Once that medication wears off, they back at it again. They banging their head on the wall till it bust open. They cutting themselves, spraying blood all over themselves. They licking their own feces. Our teenagers in there losing their minds. So they know if you want to find out where all of the, just say a kid is sex trafficked as a little kid and get kidnapped. And then they get sex trafficked and they put them on medication or drugs to get them to keep having sex. Well, those kids grow up to be adults addicted to drugs now. And so now they're no use. They're crackheads. So now you take that same kid and you throw him out on the street, and on the street, it's a prostitute. It's a crackhead. So that same kid that we would help as a kid never gets caught and now grow up, and now that kid is a criminal. You want to know where they're at? They're in our prisons and jails. If you go ask people, hey, how did you get here? You know, those same people that we would have sympathy for as a kid, we don't have it for them as an adult because they fell through the cracks, and now they're just a crackhead. And there's these same prisons being locked in cages. We need to go ask people like, hey, man, how did you get here? And they tell you like, hey, I was sex trafficked. I got on drugs and, you know, I didn't know my parents, this, that, and other. And they in our prison system. So when you talk about prison reform, I don't give a damn what Trump talking about. I don't care how he talk. Prison reform, we need it. We absolutely need it because we need to go in there and say, hey, these people are traumatized. It ain't about, you know, what did they get, the crime, this, that, and other. We need to find out, how did you grow up? How did you get here? And then there's some that actually do the crimes that need to be in there, but we also need better mental health, better rehabilitation. So I don't care about what Trump said. They go back to that nigga stuff. I don't care what people say. What are your policies? We need them. We need prison reform. We need school choice. We need opportunity zones. We need every last bit of that. And when he gone in 4 years, I don't care less. We still need every bit of that.
Because it's never been about a president. It's all about the mindset of the Black community. It's never been about the president.
Darren, you in Texas?
Yeah.
What county?
Dallas.
Is it Dallas?
I mean in Ellis now, Ellis County. It's right by Dallas.
Your mayor is a Democrat or Republican?
The what?
Your mayor is a Democrat or Republican?
Republican.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what? The reason why I chose Republican this time, because I've been under Democratic mindset my whole life. Every last one of us can agree. Since I've been born, since I was born, we have always been in poverty. We've always had the broken schools. We've always had the all the drug stores in our community. We always had a bad rap, and we've been screaming forever. Hey, we need help. We need help. And Biden has been there for 47 years. The Democrats and the Republicans, nobody was answering our cry. But now you got somebody who's in the government saying, hey, the government is corrupt. Hillary them did do this. China is this way. So I've been waiting forever for somebody to say, hey, the government is corrupt. And we finally got somebody in there, and we got to open it with the policies. Trump's weaknesses he likes to win. He's not no racist. He don't care about none of that. He likes to win. So whatever he can do to get the votes from whoever, Trump is going to do that. Now, whether he's a racist or not, I want to take advantage of that. You know, hey, man, give us the opportunity zones, give us whatever we need, and we need to use wisdom and serve people, to me, the conservative way. The Democrats have been serving us a way that was manipulation and deceptive and been lying to us the whole time. That's why we're still down. The Republicans haven't been going after the black vote or even caring about us. So we need to use wisdom and say, okay, where can we get in when we fit in and go after what we know? So I want to serve people the conservative way. Yeah, we need to go get put some real entrepreneurship programs in the hood. Teach us how to put a task force together to say, okay, you want to start a t-shirt business? I'm gonna put a team around you. This person knows marketing. This person knows how to write grants. This person knows how to do XYZ, and we're gonna put a team around you to get this business going. And we can turn people on to tax codes and what really goes on in government. All kind of stuff we can do.
Hey, I got to get up off here, y'all. Just want to let you guys know this was dope as hell. Leland, I know I was hard on you right now, but I love you. I hate your fucking mind, but I love you. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight with you. I'll fight for you. All right? You're still my brother. All of y'all here, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Suni, we about to start at 8:45, all right?
I'm coming.
All right, catch y'all later. Hey, if y'all want to jump on with us and want to welcome to, just let Suni know. She'll send you the link.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Send me that link, Sonny.
Okay.
All right.
You keep calling me Sonny, bro. It's Suni.
Suni, I'm sorry.
I was like, he gonna correct it. Everybody around him saying Suni.
Hey, look. Hey, look, I went to a public school, taught by black people.
Oh my goodness.
DPS, baby.
It is awesome having these conversations, because at the end of the day, I truly do hope you take something, even though you don't agree with us. I hope you take something collectively from 4 different black people from completely different backgrounds. You know, Darian's experience as a black person, he should feel exactly the way you do. He should be jaded to the world and hate any and everything and walk around with anger in his heart. But he's not. He's holding the people accountable that need to be held accountable. It doesn't matter what party they are, because both parties have fucked us all equally. They have fucked us. Just keep it a band. They have all of us. Everybody in this country has been screwed, especially if you're middle class. Even worse if you live in poverty.
And
we need to hold these politicians accountable. That is why we are in the state we're in. Yes. Shitty policy, racist policy, and policies that feed their pockets, not the people. So if you take anything from me, I would hope that that's what you get from all this, because this is literally what I'm fighting for. This is what every conservative is fighting for. Hold the people accountable that need to be held accountable. It don't matter what party you in.
I wanted to add something to Darren's point about black entrepreneurs and things. Bro, you know, niggas been slinging dope in the hood, making hella money.
Yeah.
You know, they know how to market. They know how to flip. They know how to invest and re-up and shit like that. They know how to lose one and bounce back 10 times stronger. They know how to do it. It's like, I'm talking to my lady about this. Like, we already have that mindset. We already have that ambition and that knowledge already instilled in us. All we have to do is take that same energy, take that same knowledge, and apply it to something legit. Something that's not going to land us in prison or land us in the grave, or have the next man mad at us because we fronted him some dope and the nigga, you know. So right, like, take that same concept, that same energy, and just apply it to something legal. Like, this is America, bro. This is not South Africa. Okay, You are in fucking America. Like, you can literally do this shit, bro.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying, Leland. I really do, man. There is an outrage. There's people being killed in the hood for a long time, and people never even paid attention to it. That's why sometimes when you look at a lot of the statistics, you say, "Oh, well, you know, this race being killing more than this race," but there's a lot of unsolved stuff that goes on the hood, and we can't prove it. You know what I'm saying? It's probably people getting killed in the hood right now, and we don't even know it, and we'll never ever hear about it. You know, but it's because it can't prove it. But at the same time, man, we gotta do something else different. We can't keep just talking about the same. I mean, I've been hearing slavery and how we've been done all our life. We have to do something different at this point. This is a different time, a different day, a different age. And if you know, all of my brothers have been in prison, man. I always heard the same shit, man. We need to do better, and we need to hold white people accountable. This, that, and other. Man, at some point, they not gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? We have to hold ourselves accountable. And we have to go get it, because I can go buy some land right now. I can go own a business right now. I literally can go get a loan and get a business. I mean, there's no white people holding me back from that now. Whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. Whatever's going on right now is going on right now. But whatever it is going on is not stopping us, because we got rich black people. We got wealthy black people. We got black people coming up with great families, great kids, great husbands. I've been through every trauma you can probably been through. But my kids, both two of them in college. They all A's and B's. They not gonna go through that what I went through, and I'm gonna teach them different. I'm gonna teach them to pull their pants up, all that stuff. I'm gonna teach them to handle themselves with respect. I'm gonna teach them to be great husbands. I'm gonna teach them to be fathers that be in their home. You know what I'm saying? Because of the experience that I went through, I'm never gonna teach them to be angry. I'm never gonna teach them to be violent. I'm never gonna teach them to hit somebody for disrespecting them and all that shit, unless they put their hands on you. Yeah, but my kids, they train to fight. You know what I'm saying? So they know how to, I'm gonna let you talk all you want to, but I'll put pause on you whenever I feel the need to. But at the same end of the day, how do I get myself out of situations? How do I not? Man, I lived in the house. All my brothers was violent. So I had to learn how to navigate around there, because my brothers, if you fight with them, they don't know how to stop. I was the one in the house that had a cold, man. So they called me a punk or whatever. They called me scary or whatever, but. I'm the only one in my family graduated high school with honors. I'm the only one in my family graduated from college, but it's because I used wisdom. I started, thinking my way out of situations and knowing when the climate is getting too rough. Okay, get up out of here, because it's going to go down. You know what I'm saying? That's the way we got to do in this situation. How do we navigate with wisdom? We all got opportunities, whether it's on the Democratic side or the Republican side, to get a seat in the government. And when we get there, we need to work. We need to work, and we need to do it with wisdom, not with violence and anger and all that shit, man. That ain't gonna get us nowhere. We've been doing that for years. We've been doing that for years. It ain't gonna ever get us nowhere. We have to use wisdom. We have to use insight, knowledge, and understanding to get somewhere, to grow up. And if we could do that with maturity, man, I got 5 boys. I'm raising them to own some stuff. I did the hood stuff. I'm raising them to have control over their emotions, control over their mindset. I'm teaching them what to listen to. By golly, I love rapping, all that stuff. I'm an 8-ball MJG. I'm a big crit guy, but I can't go back to that dark place, you know what I'm saying, of that anger, right, because it ain't gonna put me nowhere in a room with the light off, or probably sitting back listening to Big Chris smoking a blunt. You know what I mean? It ain't that time. You know what I'm saying? I'm a father now. I'm a husband. I want to create something. I want to build a legacy, and that takes wisdom. That takes self-control. That takes knowing your triggers and when somebody's gonna piss you off and be like, yeah, I got to dip. You know what I'm saying? That take me. I can't go to the BLM rallies and all that stuff, man, because it's too much angry energy, man. So I can't do it. But I understand the struggle, but there's got to be somebody doing it a different way.
That's what we're going to talk about the next time we all come together, because I have to get to another show. I want to talk about, you're going to understand why I call Black culture a product. We're talking about every aspect of Black culture. Next episode, I want to talk about the way hip hop has influenced Black culture, because I think that's a very important ingredient to where we are right now. Right. So come back tomorrow at 8. I might have some extra people here, but I like this group. It's a diverse group, but we all have a different experience. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, Leland. Even though we're hard on you, bro, you're family.
I like old Leland, man.
Good job.
Antonio's frozen, but he's going to be on the next show with me. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.